When my two kids were growing up, like most fathers, I wanted them to find a work, not just a job to do with their life. And what I mean by that is I wanted them to identify their gifts and their passions, and then somehow merge them together and then find a real world need out there that they could get paid for. I mean, that would be nice along the way. But that's what I mean when I talk about finding a work, not just a job. Too many kids are growing up, going through school, completing both secondary school and higher education sometimes, and still not sure about what they're supposed to do with their lives. So they change their majors, et cetera, et cetera. So when my son Jonathan was 16 years old, he and I had a number of conversations. And in the midst of one of them, he said, I think I want to move out to LA for 6 months. And he was a junior in high school. And so we arranged to make that happen, that he took some time off and he went 6 months out there to Burbank in Hollywood to look at the entertainment industry. And during that period of time, he grew like a weed. It was amazing. Now, it was an expensive experiment, but it was so worth it because when he came back, he had actually adjusted the sails. He had actually changed his mind slightly, and the experience was what taught him there. It wasn't just a lecture from Dad, it was an experience in the real world. And by the way, when both of my kids got done with high school, they both took a gap year between high school and college. And during that gap year, they got real world experience. In fact, they worked at Growing Leaders with me, but they were not directly under me. They were working under management where they learned to travel and add value to people on the road. They learned to pack up books in a box and ship them out. They learned to make sales calls and so forth and so on. But that experience made them so much more ready for higher education when it was time. My point was simply this: as merely one adult in their life, I wanted to make sure that enough things had happened along the way that it was time to make a decision, they were ready to make a decision. So let me very quickly tell you, in one particular chapter in the new Expanded Generation IY book, I differentiate between finding a work and finding a job. And there's a huge difference. Jobs will come and go, probably throughout their 20s. And the average 20-something is in several jobs before they reach 30. In fact, one corporate executive suggested to me that the corporate ladder has turned into a corporate lily pad, where like frogs, they're hopping from one lily pad to the other. It's normal now. The work, on the other hand, remains the common thread that perhaps are woven throughout all the jobs that they have. Jobs are a source of income. In fact, we even ask in the job interview, what will I make? The work is a completely different focus. I'm looking at what I contribute back with my gifts and passion, not what I'm making. Huge difference in focus. The job is often motivated by competition. We want to make more and better widgets, better than the corporate office down the street. The work is often motivated by compassion. And it's not that there isn't competition, but I'm moved from the heart level. It's more about my heart than my hands, even though I'm using my hands to do this work. But my point in all this is simply this: the shift has to be where they're working out of devotion, not just duty. They're not just eking their way through their career as this young professional. They found something they can really give their life to. That's what I wanted for my kids. I'm guessing that's what you want for your students, your own children, that young employee in your office, that athlete that you're coaching. And so this particular chapter in the new Generation IY book covers how to help them find that work and to really become the best version of themselves when it's all over. One last thought. I believe finding a work is almost always bigger than finding a job. Meaning, when I find my life's work and I really give myself to it, heart and soul, it's almost always bigger than a piece of paper with a job description on it that was handed me by someone else. I want them to do that with excellence, but I want it to be so much more, and I bet you do too. So I'm hoping this particular chapter becomes extremely valuable as you attempt to mentor that young person next to you.